Hey everyone, I'm Brittany Jones Cooper. Welcome back to Build. If you haven't watched Red Table Talk on Facebook Watch, you're simply missing out. Hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith, the show features 3 generations of women sitting around a table having honest conversations about love, race, abuse, mental health, and self-worth. It is honest, it's raw, and it's really fun. Take a look.
Oh my goodness. Look who is at the table.
You're not breaking me today, Jada.
I've broken you enough. We are 3 generations of women talking about the world around us.
I'm not afraid to talk about race.
My job was to get you into Scientology.
He started hitting me, and he was in a rage.
He told me I'd rather get high than be your father.
We don't even call ourselves married
Anymore. Because I dated a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Easy. All right, I've had enough of the red table.
You had the courage to tell your story.
Got you crying at the red table. We did get you.
Give it up for Jada Pinkett Smith.
Hey, everybody.
Jada, I've been waiting to sit down and talk to you.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this show for so many reasons.
Thank you.
And I think for me, the reason I got into what I do is I like to have conversations. And it's very rare that you get to see real conversations,
Right.
though. And so it's so refreshing. So I want to know, why now? Why was this the time for you to put yourself and your family out there and have a show like this?
I had 3 incredible women doing when I was in a real crisis in my life. About 2 times I was in a real crisis. And I had 3 women who had the courage to be super transparent, to just have the realest conversation with me that really changed my life. It put my life on a completely different trajectory. And I really felt like, I was like, why don't we share like this more often? Like, this is the kind of information we need, you know? And I just felt like, all right, whatever I have to offer, I'm ready to just offer it, because it's a gift when people are willing to share their testimony and share their truth. It really is a gift. And from those 3 experiences I had, I was just like, I'm ready to have those real conversations, to just share some real information, or just even to have a real camaraderie, because even that's healing.
Especially to bringing your mother and daughter into the mix.
Absolutely,
3 beautiful
yeah.
ladies right here. For me, was the most transformative thing, because I have close girlfriends and we talk about these things. But a lot of the times I really want to have the conversation with my mom.
Right.
And I think a lot of women do. Yeah. And our mothers speak to us in code sometimes. They don't want to put all of their stuff on us, or they don't want to write. And so they hold back a certain amount when that's really what we need and want.
Absolutely.
So what was that decision like, to bring these women in with you, women that you love more than anything?
Well, because my daughter and my mother have incredible stories of their own. You know, even though Willow's only 18, Willow's been through a lot for an 18-year-old, you know, and my mom is 65. She went from being a teenage mom, going through years of battling heroin addiction, to becoming a successful nurse, to now being a host of Red Table Talk at 65, a whole new career. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show you that life's a journey, you know, and we have our pitfalls, but that doesn't mean it's going to stop us necessarily. We make mistakes, but that doesn't define us. You know, we have our warrior scars, but those warrior scars are there to strengthen us. And so each generation of us have our different scars of different levels that I just felt like we've come through and survived in a certain manner, and to just share those experiences and those testimonies.
What have you learned from Willow and Gam? Can I call her Gam?
Yes, you can. You can go Gam Bam.
Gam Bam. What have you learned from them in doing this? Because I'm sure that before you did this, you felt like you knew them.
Yeah.
But have there been these light bulb moments for you with these 2?
Definitely with my mother. Yeah. Definitely with my mother. I feel like it's so crazy. It's like it's your mom, and I feel like I'm just getting to know her. Like, I didn't know she had such a sense of humor. I didn't. She's funny, you know, and I didn't know that. I've always known that she's opinionated, but also just being able to stand next to her and just see that, you know, growth and expansion and adventure doesn't stop no matter your age, right? So for me, she's deeply inspiring because, like I said, she's 65. This is usually when people are like, you know, you lived a great life. I mean, yeah, hang it up. And she's like, no, I'm just getting started. You know, so being around that kind of energy every day is deeply inspiring. And then Willow just she's just fresh eyes to everything because she sees the world so differently than my mother and I. Her experiences are different than us, you know, much different. I just realized, I was like, wow, she just grew up different. Like I told her, I said, sometimes she is a stranger to me because I'm not privy to her experiences, strangely enough. I did not grow up with parents that are in the entertainment business. I didn't grow up in the spotlight, and I didn't grow up with the amount of privilege that she has, right? So her perspective of the world and how she sees it and her problem solving is very different than me or my mother.
Her heart is one of the purest I think I've seen, though. I almost find myself in unison going, yeah, the way she does, like
Yep.
it's like we're hitting on the same things. And so I like having her voice there with the three of you. It's really fun to watch.
Definitely.
How do you guys choose which topics you're going to cover? Because like I said in the intro, it's really vast. Some of it's really heavy.
Right.
So how do you choose this week, this is what we need to talk about?
You know, sometimes it depends if there's serious topics that are happening socially, then we're like, okay, this week is gonna, you know, hit on, even if we don't want to hit that topic on the head, sometimes we do, but we'll just say, okay, we're gonna, you know, talk about forgiveness, or most of the time our topics come from personal experiences that we've had, things that have gone on in our life, like addiction, how, you know, we as a family dealt with and deal with addiction, being that my mom is 27, 28 years clean now. So, yeah. But just in her talking about her journey, we thought that was really important to talk about as a family. But yeah, usually they come from experiences that we've had.
And experiences you've had, but also very universal
Yes.
experiences.
Yes.
I think the domestic abuse episode you guys did was obviously very personal.
Yeah.
But when I looked at the comments on the side, that was the most moving part, is the women who were like, I needed this, I felt this way, I've been
Absolutely.
through that, right?
Listen, our Red Table Talk family is amazing. Like, to be able to be a part of a community like that has been the best for me, and for Willow and my mother. Just being able to reach out to people directly and talking about these kind of subject matters. And the Red Table Talk family teaches me a lot too. You know, I go inside of the I go inside of the page, I see what people are talking about, what people want to see, and what conversations they're having. And I'm telling you, it's some deep stuff going on, you know?
Really deep, yeah. And I almost was thinking a show like this wouldn't even necessarily be as successful if it was like on a network.
No.
Because the social component of this
Absolutely.
is what is so special and unique and collaborative and unifying.
That's something that I didn't know going in. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Facebook Watch is because I already knew that I was having these conversations on my personal Facebook already, and I knew that there was a community on Facebook that was ready to have these conversations. And I didn't think that the community would grow as big as it has, right? But I'm happy it has. But yeah, I knew that on Facebook specifically, people were ready.
And you definitely speak to all people, all women, but I think the show holds a special place for Black women because you're able to communicate a lot of issues going on in the community with us internally. So why was it important for you to use your platform to talk about issues, like to help Black women kind of get out of their own heads about things and to reach out to their community and process? Because I know therapy is not something that people like to partake in.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's something that we can't get away from because we're Black. Right? So we're 3 Black women. And, but I also felt like it was important to have a platform where we could feel safe. I don't know if there's many platforms where women in general, but specifically Black women, can come together to talk about sensitive subject matters with safety. You know, where we can just be ourselves, where we can just let go. So whether you agree or not, you can just be, and we can have a conversation about it, right? And that's really what I wanted to do with the Red Table, is just create a place of safety to talk about those subjects that aren't easy, you know, and that we, even though they're not easy, we can learn to talk about them with consideration. We can learn to talk about them with respect and love. Even in our anger, we can still be considerate and loving. Right? And so it's also a place to learn how to communicate, you know? But yeah, I definitely think it's one of those, it's just a safe space for
judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
It really feels like that, especially I remember you had Ellen Pompeo on talking about race, and she has biracial children in her journey. And that was eye-opening for me in a lot of ways, to know that she was getting the ridicule from white people, and that it wasn't just, you know, like, to hear her backstory and her journey.
It was deep,
so
right?
Deep.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And I think a lot of times, you know, I love having the Red Table too, so that you can dive into people's stories a bit more than, you know, we don't necessarily have the time to do it on other platforms, but at the Red Table, for those who are interested, who really want to come and share, and also share who they really are. Is pretty awesome.
And you have a lot of people on the show that I think we're all interested in. You had Toni Braxton and Gabrielle Union. That episode, I want to know, were you nervous going into that situation with Gabrielle to kind of bring up just the history and...
Nervous? No. I think I was more relieved than nervous. You know, it was like I was just kind of ready to just whatever, just let's release it, you know? And so that was a really, really healing moment and a healing episode, because there's so many of us women who, we got beef with other women. We don't even know why. Right. We don't know why. You know, and, you know, you just young and you don't want to share cute. You want to be the only cute girl in the room. And if you see another cute girl, well, now you hating, because I don't want to share that cute space, right? So, you know, just being able to just mature and grow up and, you know, just look at each other, sister to sister, and like, we need each other. So let's get it together.
I felt that too, and it made me look at myself.
Right.
And my interactions,
right,
and women that I maybe feel competitive with, and ask myself,
why?
There is enough room
there's enough
for all of us.
Exactly, and I think we do that a lot. I think that also we're taught to compete. We're told that that's what we're supposed to do, and we don't have to. And so I think that also at the Red Table is just kind of also dissolving those myths and those ideas of what we think we need to be doing, what we think we should be, versus getting to the truth of things and just figuring out for yourself what you want.
That said, what is off limits? Because it seems like you guys will talk about most things.
Yeah.
Do you draw a line somewhere where you're like, that's me, that's personal, that's my family?
Well, definitely. You know, I know people are like, oh man, you guys are so transparent. Yeah. There's still a lot of privacy, you know, in regards to our family life and even who we are as individuals. But, you know, of course, you definitely draw lines where you're just like, nope, not there. Yeah, we're gonna keep it here. Even where we go in the house. Nope, you can't go here. Yeah, no, we're gonna stay right in this little area over here. This part over here, that's family private time. That's private time family area. So, Yeah.
But I do feel like viewers appreciate that they're in your home, but have the natural respect to understand that boundary. I feel like
Absolutely.
that's one of the reasons we're drawn. Is
Right.
because it's, this is the studio and that's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, even when you go into somebody's home, it's like you're invited, you stay in the living room.
Don't go looking at my
closet. People's
closet.
bedrooms and their closet and all that, unless you've been invited, right? Exactly. Right. So, yeah, we stay in a common space.
What has surprised you the most about this job? Whether it's somebody you interviewed or a moment you had of reflection, what has just sort of shaken you a little bit, made you kind of look at things differently?
I don't know if there's anything that's shaken me. But I mean, I've had lots of conversations that have made me look at a lot of things differently. When we had Jane Elliott on and talking about race, and her perspective was just like, whoa.
Human race.
I was like, the human race? All right, Jane. It's like, all this white and black is just human. And I was like, all right. I was like, that is a beautiful perspective.
When I asked the question, that's actually the moment I had in mind.
Really?
I watched that show and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to be different after
I'm
this.
going to be different, and it definitely made me look at things differently. And it definitely challenged some of the ideas that I had that were concrete in my mind. And that was really, I learned a lot on that episode. I really did. She gave me a different perspective, a different way of looking at things.
And I think a lot of people did, which is
Yeah.
why I love your show,
Right.
is that I go into those comments and you see people having light bulb moments all
like,
the way
wow,
down.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really means something. And honestly, I don't know if we've had something like that since Oprah, really.
Right.
And I do think you're filling that space that we've been missing.
I don't know if anybody can fill the Oprah space, but Oprah.
She was her own woman in her
Yes,
own, but I think
definitely.
that space that people have that connection to conversation.
Right,
I
right.
cannot think of another. I'm a huge consumer of talk shows. And
Wow. Okay.
I really am. And I just wanted to tell you that I do think you're filling a very important void. And the
thank
conversations I think are crucial, especially now.
Yeah, I
So
couldn't agree with
I
you
respect
more.
that. Yeah,
Thank
a lot.
you. Thank you.
I do want to highlight that you have a lot of other things going on, still with the focus of sisterhood. I know you have a film called Holla.
Oh yeah, I leave tonight to go to
Yeah.
Sundance. We are in competition there. It is a project that is written and directed by Minhal Baig, and she's a young woman from Palestine. And it's a coming-of-age story, basically about her life and how she was trying to hold on to her traditional family values while also trying to integrate as a young American girl in the United States of America in Chicago, and just walking that fine line. And it's a fascinating story. And I'm very proud of it because women are leading the charge in front of the camera, behind the camera. Every department head was a woman. I'm very proud of that project, not just because I think it's a brilliant movie, but what we were able to achieve as far as production, inclusivity. Ever since my whole Oscar situation, I've been, in my own art, in my own work, making sure that I am walking the walk of inclusivity and diversity and making sure that I can flow power to other women as well.
I read that a large percentage of the crew were
we're women as well.
on this
yes.
film, and it reminded me of what Regina King just
Absolutely.
said about her
At
project.
the Golden Globes, that's
right?
why I was like, to my girl Regina, and let me tell you, congrats to Regina. She got her Oscar nomination. But when she said it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to answer that call to action, Regina. So, we've done a bit of that with Holla with this production. So that I'm going to put that check mark on Regina's call to action.
And that's what it takes.
That's what it
You can
takes.
talk all day, but to see the action
Yep.
is what's going to change things. And I just was really happy when I read that. I was like, "Go, Jada."
Yeah,
Good
you
for
know,
you.
we're making strides. You know, it's like, but it takes all of us to do it, and not even just in the Hollywood world, but you know, just in every aspect of industry. So it's just important that when we can, we flow power to each other. It's as simple as that. When we can, you know.
Are you producing any other projects, or do you have any other?
Oh, yeah,
Are you
got
going to
some-
be in front of the camera?
I am. I have a movie coming out in September with Gerard Butler and Morgan Freeman. Yeah, called Angels. Angel Has Fallen, and so I'm excited about that. So I will be in front of the camera once again. I don't know how often that's gonna happen, but because I'm really loving my Red Table Talk journey. But yeah, I will be in front of the camera in September. Yep.
What does that feel like for you, though, to have that versatility? I would imagine it'd be really freeing that you can do this, you're producing, you can act. It's sort of, you know, you've worked to get to that point.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Debbie Allen was one of my, you know, she was the woman that I looked up to coming into this business. She was the triple threat. She directed, produced, choreographed. She could do everything. And so I basically really kind of used her as my blueprint. So, you know, I just look at myself as the young Debbie Allen. You know, just making moves. Yeah.
That comparison, because I follow her dance school on Instagram,
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
always doing so much.
She's
and I'm like, that
always
is a
doing a
good
lot.
mentor
Yep.
to have. Yeah, for sure. Well, I know the audience, we have a full packed house today.
Okay,
They have a couple
great.
questions for you. So who do we have first?
Hi, Jada.
Hey.
Good to talk to you again. The last time I talked to you was for Girls Trip. And
Yes.
I remember we talked about the preservation of sisterhood. And I have to agree with Brittany. Maybe not Oprah, but I feel like you are that sister to the community by putting Gam and Willow here in the forefront to talk about important issues. And with that said, I wanted to ask you, what are some really serious topics that you feel need to be talked about as of yet that have not yet been talked about that you plan to tackle on Red Table Talk?
Well, in regards to our community specifically, colorism. Huge. Colorism we'll be talking about within the Black community and aspects of self-hatred and how self-hatred affects us in our decision-making about various things. So those will be two issues that are specifically in regards to the Black community. And then in regards to more universal topics, infidelity will be one topic that we're going to tackle that we've been trying to figure out. You know, infidelity is a touchy one. So we've just been trying to figure out who are the specialists to bring, who are the guests to bring that are willing to talk about it. And so that'll be another one. So we definitely got a couple of deep issues. We're also talking about another really heavy one is talking about how boys and molestation and the effects of that, because I don't think that is talked about enough. And also the fact that there's such a large number of males, transgenders as well, that are being trafficked in this country that we cannot facilitate because we don't have homes, housing for them. There's not money that's going towards, to help them, resources. And so we're going to be tackling that as well. That's a very touchy one, but that's one that I find supremely important to bring up because it's far more prevalent than anyone really wants to talk about. So we're gonna get into that as well.
Wow, I'm into all three of those. I cannot wait, especially the colorism one.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm having those conversations a lot, more and more.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice
we
to not have
yeah,
to pretend like it's not a thing.
exactly. It's a big thing,
Yeah.
and we've been, as we've been focusing a lot on race this cycle of recording, but I do believe that we have some internal work that we need to do within our community in regards to color and self-love and self-hatred. Yeah.
And next question.
Hello, Jada.
Hey.
I'm Reggie.
Hey, Reggie.
One, just to hear you say that, that's great. So, two things here. One, first of all, I've been following you since you and your family's work, but you since Different World, way back. And just wanted to say thank you for you and your family's entire breadth of work and what you're leaving for us to sit and hug and hold with every day.
Thank you.
Secondly, it's very important, the story with your mother. My mother's going through the same thing. So I tell her to watch this, and because of what your mother has gone through, and I'll call her and I text her sometimes and I'll be like, you watch Red Table today? Like,
Right.
What are you doing? Like, I need you to be on your P's and Q's because she gives her inspiration. So I just wanted to say thank you for that and continue to have her stories said. With all of that being said, and also that men appreciate this as well.
Well, you know, we've been having some men at the table lately.
Hey, no, the men, we appreciate it. We're watching, and it's very informative. So with that all being said, you seem like you've always been a person of action who does everything with intent. How important is it to you that everybody brings their authentic self to the table? Is it something that, to the point where, will you, in the edit, fix it later or get up from the table and be like, listen, this is not, I already know you're not, because in a world where we're all putting on our best face, how do you know that best face is sitting at your red table?
Yeah, and that's real talk. There have been times where we've had to pull shows. We've had to pull shows because, and no one's fault. It just didn't work. Some people come to the table and their guard is up and it doesn't work, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It just is, right? But that's the risk. That is a risk that you take. But we also, we want to protect people, and if it, and also our brand. But if it doesn't work out, it's okay, So, but yeah, there've been times where we've had to pull shows. Yeah.
I've also seen guests sit down and be like, I wanted to talk to you.
Right.
I wanted to bring this story here.
Right.
Which again, I'm just saying that Oprah void. Don't knock it. I'm just saying it's
I'm
real.
not knocking
Just
it.
saying. Next question. What do we got? Oh, over here.
Hi, Jada.
Hey,
I'm a big fan of yours.
thank you.
I've been dying to meet you. My question to you, what was it like filming Girls Trip?
What was it like?
Filming Girls Trip.
Oh, filming Girls Trip. Oh, my goodness. We had such a good time. I really miss them. We stay in contact. We haven't been able to all gather together in a while, but I'm hoping that we're going to have this deal figured out so we can make our girls' trip too. Yeah.
We're ready for more Flossy Posse.
I'm ready for more Flossy Posse. Trust me, because Red Table Talk can be very serious and intense. I'm ready to have some fun with my girls. Real talk.
Just this popped in my head. Where would you like the next one to be set? I mean, New Orleans was such like a fun.
I know we talked about Rio. We talked
Ooh.
about South Africa. I think we talked about Rio, South Africa. And what other place did we? I think it was just Rio and South Africa. But yeah, we have to figure out where the next place. Yeah.
I just went to Rio. I think you should do Rio.
Yeah.
A little samba would be good.
Yeah.
Last question.
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering, what has been the hardest topic you've discussed in the Red Table Talk?
The hardest one. I'd have to say probably the one about loss, because right before we went on the program, right before we went to film, I literally got a phone call about losing a friend. A friend of mine had passed away. And I was like, all right. It was ironic that we were doing a show about loss and my girlfriend had died. I would say that was the most difficult one, just having to talk about it, but be in the midst of the emotion about it was really hard, because what I really wanted to do was just break down, but you can't, because I wanted to really be inside of my feelings and really have a moment to feel it and talk about it and keep it together while doing it, right? So, and then Willow revealed her self-harm situation, and I was just like, okay. So it was like all of this stuff happening at once at the table, and me realizing in that moment as Willow's talking, I was like, Jada, do not go into this whole, just guilt space as a mother. Like, how come I didn't know? Where was I? I was just like, nope. This is about celebrating Willow's strength. The fact that she was able to pull herself through a dark moment in her life, and just recognizing in that moment, no matter how much you love your kids, no matter how much communication you have, you cannot be there for every single moment, but that the love that we put within them is. So that was a moment.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
And the strength she had
Yes,
to share it.
to share. Because
And
I
to
was
be
just
vulnerable.
like, yeah, she was vulnerable and she shared. I was just like, whoa, what is happening right now? You know, even that. And, you know, when we were done taping, she was like, she really just felt the need to speak about it because she wanted to lend a voice to all those other, you know, teenagers out there that she knows of that are in the same mix, you know, and I was just proud of her in so many ways. But that, I would say, that was the most difficult show. It was a lot to take on in front of a crew of people at once, you know.
Well, I find myself being proud of all of you for, again, having the vulnerability to be open and to have these conversations that like I said, I don't think we're having enough of. So if you guys have not checked out Red Table Talk, you can catch a new episode on February 4th on Facebook Watch.
Yeah, and all the old ones are up. If you haven't seen them, they stay up. Go check it out.
They're like
Yeah,
20
go
minutes.
catch
You can
up.
watch a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
All right, Jada, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.